edition of the Think Well podcast, where hopefully you'll find that the thinking is done well. Please don't forget to subscribe so that you can engage in our unique currency of thought that's going to help you to maneuver through your own unique situations. Today we're going to be focusing on Reform UK's first female MP, Sarah Pochin, and we're going to be focusing on the comments that have set social media alight. And these comments are based on the fact that she's driven mad by the plethora of blacks and Asians featuring in television adverts that she feels is not representative of the UK population. Let's take a look.
I think Stuart's absolutely right. Drives me mad when I see adverts full of black people, full of Asian people, full of, people that basically are anything.
What's wrong with that, Sarah? What's wrong with that?
Well, it doesn't reflect our society, and I feel that your average white person, average white family is like I agree with you, Stuart, not represented anymore in TV.
There are lots of white people on television, Sarah, or they're not. There are lots of white people. There are lots of white men. There are lots of white women.
We're talking about adverts, and how many times do you look at a TV advert and you think there's not a single white person on it?
I mean, the tone I want to pick up on in terms of Sarah Pochin's posture in that. The fact she's driven mad with the fact that the TV adverts are full of blacks, full of Asians, basically people that are anything other than white. In that, she betrays herself because she's saying people that are basically anything other than. So what she's saying is there is no common thread between people of colour and white people. We are separate entities that are very unique in themselves and that we are separate. There is no common thread that binds us. And for me, that completely eradicates the whole multicultural project of inclusion. Because what you're saying is that there is no basis for inclusion at all. There is no basis for it. There is no common thread. Black people and Asian people are aliens. They're an alien intrusion. This is going back. This is going back to the Enoch Powell era. That's where we're going back, where we're looking at black and Asian people as an alien intrusion on the British landscape, and that there is no basis for unity there. That's the language that she's using. People that are basically anything other than nice white families. That's what's going on there. Where is the spirit of racial conviviality, where we're celebrating inclusion, as West Streeting did, the MP West Streeting, who was arguing that there were people of colour in the World War that fought for British liberties? There's a common thread there. Race doesn't guarantee ideology. Race doesn't guarantee an ideological posture anymore. It doesn't. It doesn't define your ideological posture. People who have melanated skin can think in different ways from other people with melanated skin. We're not a homogeneously, an ideological homogeneous entity here at all. I'm at odds with lots of black people who I think differently from. I'm at odds with lots of different Asian people that I've been at odds with in various places in my life, thinking very differently from them indeed. When the Conservative Party argues that it is one of the most multi-racial parties and one of the most diverse parties, I often argue that maybe it is diverse in terms of the plethora of multiracial bodies, but I don't think that it is diverse in its ideological posture. Because I think that you have a monochrome ideology that runs through the Conservative Party, regardless of race. The multiracial body can be very different from a multicultural mind. And I've touched on this before. So what she's saying in this Sarah Pochin, Reform UK's first female MP, she betrays herself by saying that black and Asian are basically people that are anything other than white people, white families. Because why can't we represent the best of Britain? Why can't black and Asian people represent the best of Britain? And that is an inclusive, a multiracial, multicultural, inclusive Britain. I'm very proud to be British myself. I take that as an offence. Because I'm quintessentially British in many ways. In many ways. Yes, my thinking in particular ways, I have a particular Afrocentric cultural orientation in certain things. That's part of me. But I would say that a large percentage of who I am as a person is British. And I get on with my British neighbours and I get on with British people very well. And I'm capable of appreciating Britain. And I feel very proud to be British. Yes, I will critique certain things that go on in British society, but that's because I want to defend and I want a better Britain. I want things to be better. Just like I would want my son to be a better human being. I've argued this point before. Okay? When people say you should just leave if things aren't the way that you want them, no, you shouldn't leave. I'm not going to abandon my son because he's gone down a particular pathway that I don't agree with. I'm going to grip him by the collars and educate him and deal with him because I love him and I want him to be the best he can be. Same with my country, Britain. Want it to be the best it can be. I don't want racism in it. It's not a positive thing. Racism is not a positive thing. And it is a delusion. It is not real. It is an illusion stroke delusion set to benefit the ruling classes. Okay? It is fraudulent. It is dishonest. Racism is a dishonest situation created as a strategy to benefit the ruling classes so that everybody fights amongst themselves at the bottom and doesn't challenge the ruling class hegemony at the top. And we've dealt with this and I don't want to get into that now. But yeah, this Sarah Joanne Pochin, she betrays herself when she says full of blacks, full of Asians who are anything other than. That's where she betrays herself. Because we're not anything other than. We're not other than. In many ways, we are similar to. We are similar in many ways. One of my good friends who I currently work with, white, female, who is from a very upper middle class background. We share so many similarities as human beings. We're so similar. We laugh about it all of the time. She can't multitask. I struggle to multitask. There are human similarities. She's as white as snow. I'm melanated. Right? And we share similarities as human beings. We have similar characteristics. Similar characteristics. Similar personality traits. Right? That draw us. And I might come into contact with a black person who I have nothing in common with, apart from the fact that we're both melanated. So that is divisive. And it's not accurate. And it's dangerous. And it's hatred. And it is deliberately divisive. It is. It's poisonous. It's poisonous. And she's got a particular agenda in the way that she's framed that. Very provocatively. And I think she's gone on to apologise, but we know that these apologies are just because you've been caught out and the pressure politically is now at your neck and you're having to do a U-turn. So I'm not even going to get into that apology. That's ridiculous. So we're now going to have a look at Dawn Butler in the House of Commons taking Sarah Joanne Pochin to task. Sarah Joanne Pochin is not in the House of Commons, but Dawn Butler, MP for Brent East, is raising the comments made by Sarah Joanne Pochin in the House of Commons. And she goes on to call Sarah Joanne Pochin a racist, which in my opinion is what she is. She's betrayed herself in the comments of the racial other, as I've mentioned. And I believe that she's betrayed herself as a racist based on that. And Dawn Butler calls her out in the House of Commons, even though she's absent. And that creates a hullabaloo in the House of Commons based on parliamentary rules. But let's have a look at this now.
Point of order, Dawn Butler.
Madam Deputy Speaker. Madam Deputy Speaker, on Saturday, the member for Runcorn and Helsby said, "It drives me mad when I see adverts full of black people, full of Asian people." The member also said, "It doesn't reflect our society." Madam Deputy Speaker, as the MP for Brent East, one of the most diverse constituencies in the UK, you can be black and brown and be British, so I'm completely offended by that comment. It is a racist comment, Madam Deputy Speaker, and can you imagine the constituents of that MP going to see her knowing that she's a racist? Madam Deputy Speaker, these comments appear to be in breach of MP's Code of Conduct, in particular the 7 Principles of Public Life.
Order, order. Can the honourable lady please reflect on her language and withdraw the remark about another honourable member in this place?
Madam Deputy Speaker, that comment is absolutely a racist comment. And if we cannot call that comment out in this House, that is in breach of the Nolan Principles for MPs. And I want to know, Madam Deputy Speaker, if you can help me in ensuring that...
Order, order. For clarity's sake, it's the calling of a member of this House a racist.
Madam Deputy Speaker, to say that, let me just quote again what the member for Runcorn and Helsby said. It drives me mad when I see adverts full of black people and full of Asian people. It doesn't reflect society. Madam Deputy Speaker, that is a racist comment. And it is against the Nolan Principles. And how can we ensure that members of Parliament abide by the Nolan Principles?
It's not the comment that the honourable member is referring to. It's the fact that that she called the member a racist that is the issue. If you can please reflect on your remarks of calling a member of this House a racist and stick to the comments being a racist. It may be that she considers that that is dancing on the pin of her head, but it's important that we all act with respect and set an example to the country.
Given me déjà vu, I appreciate that in this House that we are not supposed to be disrespectful and call members of Parliament, MPs, what they actually are. Ultimately, the comment is a racist comment. It's quite strange that I'm unable to call out the member for being a racist, having made a racist comment.
Order. Please, it's time and time again. Can you please consider withdrawing the comment about a member of this House being a racist?
I don't want to be thrown out of Parliament again. So I will withdraw the fact that I am referring to the Member of Parliament as a racist because of her racist comments.
Has she informed the member for Runcorn and Helsby that she intended to refer to her in the chamber?
I have.
The Chair is not responsible for comments made by individual members outside this place. If the honourable member considers there has been a breach of the Code of Conduct, the proper procedure is to complain to the Parliamentary Commissioner for Standards.
So I've included here, as you can see, the Parliamentary Rules and Procedures that explains the madness that we've just seen, the exchange between Dawn Butler and the Madam Speaker. And I've included a clip from my favourite movie, Troy, that fully articulates my intellect and logic surrounding this madness.
The men believe we came here for Menelaus's wife. Won't be needing her anymore.
My brother's blood still wets the sand, and you insult him.
It's no insult to say a dead man is dead.
It isn't. It isn't an insult to say that a dead man is dead, or that a thief is a thief, or that a carpenter's a carpenter, or that a rapist is a rapist. There's no insult there at all. Now, we've looked at the Parliamentary Rules and Procedures, and it says that abusive language, or insulting language towards another member of Parliament is forbidden, which would mean that Dawn Butler has not transgressed that boundary at all. She's dealt with reality. Absolute reality is what's gone on there. There's no insult there at all. None. No insult there at all. It's reality. Sarah Pochin is a racist. it goes on to say in the parliamentary rules and regulations that explicitly calling another MP a racist is considered unparliamentary language and an accusation of a false motive. Not a false motive. The motive is racism from Sarah Joanne Pochin. That's her motive. She's betrayed herself in her line of reasoning, highlighting the racial other. That is a motive of division, racial hatred, and therefore racism. It doesn't get any more racist than that at all. That's it. And even if you listen to, you can hear the other MP saying she is a racist. She is. She is. You can hear that from the other MPs in the House of Commons, but during that exchange. They're saying that she is a racist. So what's gone on with Judith Cummins there? What's gone on with Judith Cummins, the Madam Speaker? What is she talking about? You need to withdraw the comment that the honourable member is a racist. No, I don't. Because it's reality. You can't beat reality. Reality is reality. That's not an insult. And we're not pointing to a false motive. It can't be unparliamentary language if it's reality. That's what it is. Okay? And I believe that that is a caveat created by the old boys club of Parliament, a historical relic. Okay? A historical relic that needs to be sorted. It's an anachronism that needs to be removed from the parliamentary rules and procedures, because I think it fits into an old school boys club that is a caveat to protect people at that level of society in terms of members of parliament. Okay, that's what I think and it's lingered on, and that needs to be sorted out because she is a racist, and that's a caveat to protect people. And it means that we're not dealing with racism then. It means that it is impossible for somebody to be racist. And that doesn't help society. Sets a very poor example for society. That House of Commons rule, that caveat that she's got in there, that Judith Cummins. Judith Cummins has set a poor example for society to follow. Judith Cummins has set a poor example for British society to follow in that instance by not allowing somebody who's been racist to be called a racist. That is a poor example. And that is not treating people's intelligence with the respect that it deserves. It's an insult to intelligence everywhere. It's an insult to intelligent people who can see what reality is. That's what it's an insult to. It's not an insult to Sarah Joanne Pochin because she is a racist, so there is no insult there. It's what she is. Okay? Quite simply and plainly. And that's how I see about that situation. So there are two issues here. Two very clear issues. There is the issue primarily of Sarah Joanne Pochin's blatant racism, which is what it is. And secondary, there is the issue of the House of Commons and the parliamentary rules and procedures that provide sanctuary for racists and deviants within that House of Commons. There is a caveat there that protects people from deviancy and racism. And that is a poor example to set for British society. And it is disrespectful to our intelligence. Very disrespectful to our intelligence in that way. It's deviancy. And it's a caveat to protect the old boys club that is no more as we move into modern times. That needs to be looked into. Those parliamentary rules and procedures that protect members of parliament from being called what they are needs to be ruled out. It was the same thing with Boris Johnson when Dawn Butler called him a liar and then he was found to have lied and was a liar. It wasn't an insult, it was reality, and she was expunged from the premises, from parliament. Physically removed, expelled, expunged from the premises for calling a man what he was, which was a liar. That is a nonsense. okay? And I hope that you feel that the thinking has been done well, and I hope it helps you to maneuver through your own unique situations and to see society in a particular way, okay? Because dominant norms and values as they exist in this situation aren't always right or good. And the laws governing can sometimes be as inhumane as operating outside of the law. Because what we want is justice. And laws that don't protect and serve justice are superfluous to requirement and need to be reformed and redressed. Okay? The law sometimes doesn't serve justice. And in that capacity, it becomes evil. It aligns itself with evil forces. The very evil forces that it would say it serves to protect. I'll leave it there. Thank you for watching. Once again, please subscribe, and we look forward to seeing you again on the next episode. God bless.